the other stuff?
Good evening. I would like to welcome you to the June 24th, 2025 meeting of the City Plan Commission. Before we begin, I will outline the procedure that we will follow for our public hearing. As each agenda item is called, the applicant or their representative and people for the request will be allowed to speak. Then people against the request will be allowed to speak. If there is opposition to the request, the applicant will be allowed to make a short rebuttal. All people wishing to speak need to come to the microphone at the front of the room, and please state your name and address for the record. All statements made should be relevant to the agenda item and be limited to 3 minutes. If there are several people in favor or opposed to a request, we encourage you to allow 1 or 2 people to act as a spokesperson for the group. While public discourse is very important to the commission, we have to maintain order in the meeting so that all people may be heard and city business may be conducted. If so directed by me, the Sergeant of Arms shall remove from this meeting anybody that becomes unruly or prevents us from conducting an orderly meeting. The recommendations we make tonight will be based on the work session as well as any additional information presented tonight. After completing the hearing on each item, the commission will consider action on the item, and the action will be taken tonight on all items, excluding plats, will be in the form of a recommendation to the City Council. City Council will also conduct public hearings on all items, excluding plats, on Tuesday, August 5th, 2025, in this theater at the Waco Convention Center, 100 Washington Avenue. Our first item on our agenda is approval of the minutes of our May 27, 2025 work session and business meetings. Are there any changes or additions? Seeing none, they stand approved as written. The first item is on our agenda is A1, an ordinance amendment. What is the recommendation of city staff?
Yes, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, agenda item A1 is a public hearing on a request to consider an ordinance amendment to Chapter 28 zoning, Article 4, Division 31, Special District, Riverway Overlay District for the City of Waco by amending the Riverway Design Book, which is incorporated into the ordinance, by adding the cottage home product as an allowable type and revising the concept plan street layout. The Riverway Overlay District was previously considered by the Plan Commission on April 23, 2024, and approved and adopted by the City Council on May 14, 2024. Upon feedback from our review team, staff recommends approval of these amendments. Planning Services mailed out 9 notices and had 0 comments returned in opposition.
Okay. Is the applicant or the representative here to speak on behalf of this item? Please state your name and address for the record, sir.
Good evening, Dan Naif, Caldwell Companies, Cypress, Texas. So we're very excited about this opportunity to expand really the design guideline book, what I refer to it as, to offer yet another product that's pretty new in terms of what's going on through the nation and really unique. So love working with the staff, the city, and thank you. Certainly can answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for the applicant? Thank you.
Thank you.
Is anyone else present who would like to speak for this item? Is anyone present who would like to speak in opposition to this item? Do any of the commission members have any questions? Okay. The public hearing on this item is now closed. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve.
I second.
There's a motion by Mr. Vickers and a second by Ms. Gibbons. Any discussion? Please poll the commission.
Campbell?
Oh,
Sorry. Embry?
yes.
Gibbons?
Yes.
Ingram?
Yes.
Lozano?
Yes.
Salome?
Yes.
Vickers?
Yes.
Motion carries. Second item, Laura, you good? Oh, the second item is the subdivisions, item number 2, preliminary plat for Riverway Edition.
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, agenda item B2 is a request to consider the preliminary plat of the Riverway Edition. The overall site encompasses approximately 521 acres and is anticipated to be developed over multiple years. Given the scale and projected timeline of the project, the developer intends to submit the preliminary plat in multiple phases. The first preliminary plat area includes 327 single-family residential lots, 2 neighborhood park tracts, 1 cottage residential tract, 1 active adult amenities center tract, 4 open space tracts, 1 tract designated for an amenity center, marina, and open space, and 3 tracts reserved for future development. The current and future development tracts will be developed in accordance with the Riverway Overlay Ordinance and Design Book. Planning Services recommends approval with conditions of the preliminary plat of the Riverway Edition, subject to the conditions outlined in the review letter dated June 17th, 2025.
Thank you. Is the applicant or their representative here to speak on behalf of this item?
Dan Nave, Caldwell Companies, Cypress, Texas. We're very excited to be getting to this next milestone for the Riverway development that we believe will be great for the city of Waco and its residents, both current and future. We've enjoyed very much working with all the elected officials and staff. We've gone through the staff's comments and have not seen anything there that we think is going to be, that we can't, talk through. To that end, I believe there's already been a meeting set up or will be set up in the next week or two to go through the comments with staff to, again, to get a better understanding of the details and have that discussion. So if you have any questions, happy to try to answer them. But before you ask any questions, our engineer couldn't make it tonight, so if you ask a technical question, I probably have to punt.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant?
Thank you.
Thank you. Is anyone else present who would like to speak for this item? Is there anyone else present that would like to speak in opposition of this item? Any commission members have any further questions? The public hearing on this item is now closed. Is there a motion?
I move to approve with conditions this preliminary plat.
Second. There's been a motion by Ms. Salome and a second by Mr. Ingram. Any discussion? Please poll the commission.
Embry?
Yes.
Givens?
Yes.
Ingram?
Yes.
Lozano?
Yes.
Salome?
Yes.
Vickers?
Yes.
The next item on the agenda is item 3, the final plat of Lot 2 through 14, Block 3, Chapel Ridge Edition, Phase 10. What is the recommendation of city staff?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, agenda item B3 is a request to consider the final plat of lots 2 through 14, Block 3, Chapel Ridge Edition, Phase 10. The property is located within the city of Waco, beginning approximately 1,200 feet along Chapel Road from its intersection with Ritchie Road. The final plat for this phase covers 3.695 acres and includes 13 single-family lots zoned R1B. The final plat conforms to the Chapel Ridge preliminary plat approved in 2017. Upon review, Planning Services recommends approval of the final plat of lots 2 through 14, Block 3, Chapel Ridge Edition, Phase 10.
Thank you. Is the applicant or their representative here to speak on behalf of this item? Please state your name and address for the record.
Cam Parker, 2325 Trees Drive. This is just a continuation of Chapel Ridge Edition. It's in conformity to pretty much the rest of the subdivision in the area. Same deed restrictions, same basically everything.
Any questions for the applicant? Thank you. Is anyone else present who would like to speak for this item? Anyone else present who would like to speak in opposition to this item? Do any other commissioners have any questions? Public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the application subject to the
board's findings,
Special conditions?
Second.
special conditions. Yes.
There was no condition. And then Vickers was the second?
Yep.
There's a motion by Ms. Givens and a second by Mr. Vickers. Any discussion?
Do I need to redo my motion?
Yeah, this is the one that's straight approval.
Straight approval.
Okay, so redo the motion, correct? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to restate the motion, Mr. Chair. I move that we approve this, just approve it flat? How should I state this? Just approve it? Just approve the plat? Okay, thank you.
Still second.
Vickers. All right, we have a motion by Ms. Givens and a second by Mr. Vickers. Any discussion? Please poll the commission.
Campbell? Yes. Embry?
Yes.
Givens?
Yes.
Ingram?
Yes.
Lozano?
Yes.
Salome?
Yes.
Vickers? Yes.
Good. Next item is, which final plat? 4, Laura?
Yes, B4.
B4. The next item is B4, final plat, Lot 1, Block 1, Chapel Ridge Edition, Phase 8. What is the recommendation of city staff?
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, agenda item B4 is a request to consider the final plat of Lot 1, Block 1, Chapel Ridge Edition, Phase 8. The property is located within the city of Waco, beginning approximately 394 feet along Chapel Road from its intersection with Ritchie Road. The final plat for this phase covers 5.608 acres and includes one lot, Zone R1B, for proposed church use. The final plat does not conform to the Chapel Ridge preliminary plat approved in 2017, as conditioned in the letter June 17, 2025. A revised preliminary plat will be required prior to granting the final approval of the final plat. Therefore, Planning Services recommends approval with conditions of the final plat of Lot 1, Block 1, Chapel Ridge Edition, Phase 8, subject to the conditions outlined in the review letter dated June 17, 2025, which includes the submission of an amended preliminary plat.
Thanks, Laura. Is the applicant or their representative here to speak on behalf of this item?
Count Parker. It's basically going to be sold to a church. It's a great buffer between the residential and Chapel Road, so we're excited about it.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant? Thank you. Is anyone else present who would like to speak for this item? Is anyone present who would like to speak in opposition to this item? Do any of the commission members have any questions? Public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve with conditions.
A second.
There's a motion by Mr. Vickers and a second by Ms. Givens. Any discussion? Please poll the commission.
Campbell? Yes. Embry?
Yes.
Givens?
Yes.
Ingram?
Yes.
Lozano?
Yes.
Salome?
Yes.
Vickers? Yes.
The next item is C5, is zoning application Z-25-24. What is the recommendation of city staff?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, agenda item C5 is a public hearing from Adrian Donatucci on behalf of WBW Single Development Group LLC Series 110 on a request to change the land use designation from urban residential to medium density residential office flex and to rezone from R1B single family residence district to R3B multiple family residence district for approximately 2.763 acres described as Lot 59, Block 16, Park Meadows Phase 2 Edition, property ID 416268, and being located approximately 1,300 feet southwest of the intersection of Ritchie Road and Warren Road. Staff mailed out 48 notices and received 3 returned opposed from May Plan Commission and 1 for June. Planning Services recommends approval of the request to change the land use plan from urban residential to medium density residential office flex based on the following findings. 1, the existing and planned public infrastructure is sufficient to support the zoning districts permitted under the proposed medium-density residential office flex land use designation. 2, the property is adjacent to property designated as medium-density residential office flex. 3, the subject property is adjacent to a planned collector, which is conducive to a higher density land use designation rather than single-family development. Planning Services also recommends approval of this request to change the zoning from R1B to R3B based on the following findings. 1, the proposed zoning aligns with the land use component of the comprehensive plan as amended. 2, the property meets the area and width requirements for the R3B zoning district. 3, the existing and planned public infrastructure is adequate to accommodate the uses permitted in the R3B zoning district. 4, the densities and uses permitted within the R3B district may provide a buffer between the planned collector road and the existing single-family development. 5, the building height requirements and setback requirements of the R3B district are equivalent to the adjacent R1B height and setback requirements. 6, the proposed rezoning supports the goals of the Waco Strategic Housing Plan by increasing the supply and density of residentially zoned properties, thus enhancing opportunities for new housing development. 7, R3B zoning is present in the vicinity of the subject property, indicating consistency with the surrounding area.
Thanks, Mark. Is the applicant or their representative here to speak on behalf of this item?
Good evening, Adrian Donatucci, WBW Development. I was here, this item was before you all in May, and it was requested that we work with the homeowners to help better inform them and do some outreach about our zoning request. So since then, the best way to go about that, given how many homes are in the Park Meadows community, was to work through the HOA management companies. We have 2 separate HOA management companies within the Park Meadows community. So we sent out an email on June 10th describing what our request was, what our current zoning was, what we were requesting the zoning to change to, why we felt it was a good zoning for this property. Additionally, stating the date of this meeting and providing some slides showing maps of the property, comparing the height and setbacks of R1B and R3B, showing that they were the same in both zoning categories. We also sent the link to the city's R1B and R3B zoning ordinance so that the residents were able to look at that themselves and compare both of them. I provided my email address on that, and that was just over 2 weeks ago, and to date, I had 2 people reach out. One of the emails was not in support or opposition, just looking for additional details to help form their opinion about the request, and the second one did state their opposition to the request. I did respond back to both of them, answering their questions to the best of my ability, but I have done everything I can to reach out to those individuals. So I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you. Is anyone else present who would like to speak for this item? Is anyone present who would like to speak in opposition to this item? Yes, sir. Feel free to, or you can queue if you'd like.
My name is Rachel Kurgan. I'm at 11320 Celestial in the Park Meadows area. So the first thing I want to present to you guys is we went around the neighborhood talking to the neighbors in regard to this, and we have a petition filled out. I was looking into the Texas law, and it says that you need to have 20% or more of the owners within the 200 feet. Of the 31 houses that are affected in that 200 feet area, 18 of them are occupied, and the rest are currently unoccupied. I reached out to the Stylecraft and the Dunhill representatives, which are the builders in the neighborhood, and neither of them had any information in regard to this even after the last committee meeting happened a month ago. Also on the petition as well, in regard to the 18 houses that are occupied, we were able to get 11 signatures in opposition from them, which is a 35%. And speaking in regard to my husband and myself, this is our first house, and when we moved in, we were told that that was going to be something like a green space, a playground. If we had known that the developers planned to change the area into a multifamily, we would not have moved in where we did. But now, unfortunately, we are stuck there, just as I know a lot of the other neighbors are in the same situation. Also, in regard to Park Hill Elementary, I know that there are already multiple children in our Park Meadows development already that cannot attend that school because there are already so many kids in the area. And so adding something like condos, duplexes, apartments, anything that would consider a multifamily would just put more children in the area, which they would have nowhere to go for the school. And this petition that I did mention, we do have it signed by multiple members of the rest of the Park Meadows community, because we do agree that it will congest our schools, streets, that kind of things. And I can turn this into you guys when I'm done speaking as well. Another thing that I want to bring to your guys' attention is that there is a natural drainage in that area as well, which when we try to take that out, it would require a significant amount of work and disrupt that natural environment that is there as well. And the last thing I want to bring to your attention is our concerns regarding HOA. So currently the area of Park Meadows that we are in, which is the newer portion, pays double what the other side pays. And it is my understanding that the development company chooses the HOA management company until a certain percentage of the land is developed. And personally, we were fine paying the higher dues because we thought we were going to be getting a green space, a playground like what the other side of Park Meadows has. But now that we know that that's not going to happen, it just brings up a lot of questions of why we're paying so much and all of that. And yeah, thank you for your time. Do you want me to bring this up to you?
That's the survey?
Yes.
Is there text with that, Laura, of what the signers were asked? Or is it just signatures?
It's mostly just names.
It defines it at the top, what the purpose is. Yep.
And then, Laura, what's the best practice for rebuttals? Should we go through all opposition and then allow the applicant? Or, Will, is that a yes?
Yes.
Let's go through all opposition. Okay, is there anyone else present who would like to speak in opposition to this? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Dennis Watkins, 11312 Celestial Court in Marina. So we're one of the lots that back up to 2.7 acres. So after last month's planning meeting that my wife and I attended, we still oppose the zoning change from R1B to R3B, as we feel will have a negative impact on our property value. Yes, WBW did send out a letter to the HOA that got emailed to us. I'd like to read a couple sentences in the email we got from WBW. The first one, and I quote, WBW feels that the 2.7 acre property will front the 17 acre property and the new alignment of Warm Road and will best fit this zoning change category. Well, if you look at the map, the 2.79 acres is going to front less than an acre of the 17 acres. So it's not fronting this whole 17 acres, okay? So that's one thing I find interesting. They keep saying this 2.7 should be rezoned to match the 17 because they're talking like the whole area is zoned this 3B. But if you bring up Park Meadows, it's all yellow, it's all single family. So why do we need this little 2.79 to be changed? Leave it. Plus, it's across the road from the 17 acres. It's not part of the 17 acres. All right, so that's an objection I have. All right. The other sentence I want to read from the email we got, quote, the current consideration for this 2.7 acre parcel is for townhouses and/or duplexes. At this point, those are only words on paper. If you approve the zoning change, they could come back and put apartments there. All right, or something else. So we're still not, happy that it could be this or that. Based on R3B zoning, they could change it to a 2-story apartment, which would also have a negative effect on our value. So in closing, I'd like to state again that my wife and I strongly oppose this zoning change. And I end with this, or better yet, let's leave it green. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question, sir? Sir?
Mr. Dennis?
Could I ask you a question briefly? I heard you say twice that you were concerned it would reduce property values. Would you mind explaining what you mean by that? Why you think it would negatively impact your property value?
So if it ends up being apartments, and my backyard is apartments, that's going to affect my value. An apartment is an option, is it not?
Yes, I'm trying to understand why that would affect your property values negatively, why you believe that, sir.
No different than what we said at the last meeting, that had I known this was going to happen behind us, I probably wouldn't pick the lot I picked.
Okay.
So if 10 years from now I go to sell and my backyard is apartments with what comes with apartments, it's going to change my value.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is anyone else present who would like to speak in opposition to this item? Yes, sir, please state your name and your address for the record.
Good afternoon. My name is Iman Afshar. It's 3116 Risinger Road in Lorena, Texas, in the Park Meadows community. So I was unable to attend the previous meeting. I had an engagement in Houston. I couldn't be there, but I did listen to it. And I did notice that you gentlemen and ladies did say that there should be an HOA involvement. There should be a meeting so that people could get together, talk about it, ask questions. It was never stated that it should be an email that comes in that gets lost in the fray, that you can then ask a question directly to the individual that's the proponent of this. So that was never done. How is it that we could have an HOA meeting, a Zoom meeting with 1,000 people there to talk about lawn service, but we couldn't do this? I don't think that's an email is sufficient to fit the characterization of what you guys put forth in the May 26th meeting, first of all. Second of all, to answer your question, sir, historically, whenever you have a higher density development, which would be the R3B, historically, all property values will reduce. It reduces the characterization of the neighborhood as a whole. And this piece right here backs up directly to the R1, and anybody in that zone especially would have reduced property value. It would also have a negative effect on everybody else, because as you come in, that is now the first thing that you see. It has now reduced the characterization of the neighborhood. We have increased traffic. You're going to have an increased use, because when you have, there is no saying, no one said exactly how many people are going to be in this zone. So you're going to have an increase on infrastructure. So that could increase on trash, utilities, which will increase property taxes. That's not something anybody wants. Now, this was brought forth now, way after I bought my house, way after many of these people bought their houses. Why is it done this way? Why now? You knew about it because that road is really written right there. I remember last meeting, there was the saying that must have slipped somebody's mind. Well, that's not the case, because in this case, if we would have known about it, many people here wouldn't have purchased that home. Second of all, that zone right there is not the same. It's across a street that's going to be increased, so that should have been made well aware back then. And the reason that they don't do that, the reason that these developers often don't do that, in my notice when I do business in Houston and Dallas, is to prevent premature opposition, which is exactly what's happening here. So at the end of the day, efforts should be utilized on enhancing the community, enhancing Park Meadows. Anybody that lives there right now, there's a lot that can be improved upon. For you to try to pad your bottom dollar by making this last piece a little bit of urban development is just, I don't know, I think it's deceptive. Because if I would have known, as many people here would have known, we probably wouldn't be there. Thank you.
Any questions for our speaker? Is anyone else present who would like to speak in opposition to this item? Yes, sir. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Michael Riddick. I live behind the property in 4016 Vulcan Trail. I'm a flight nurse who serves this community flying with Baylor Scott and White Airlift, and I work overnight shifts caring for critically ill patients. My ability to sleep during the day is essential, and high-density development like this, paired with warm road alignment, would severely impact that. But beyond personal impact, the rezoning is not in the best interest of the community. Studies show that high-density developments like those allowed under R3B zoning can lead to increased traffic congestion, noise pollution, and strain on local infrastructure, especially when not paired with thoughtful planning. According to the Federal Highway Administration, even small increases in density can raise local traffic volumes by 20 to 30%, depending on the area. That's traffic flowing directly behind our homes. Additionally, research from the National Association of Realtors shows that sudden zoning changes can clash with surrounding single-family areas and negatively impact adjacent home values as much as 10 to 15%. I don't believe that this is smart growth. I believe it's rushed expansion that benefits developers, not residents. Please protect the integrity of our neighborhood and deny this rezoning request. I also believe that the rezoning could hurt property values with the increased noise and traffic as stated earlier, and the perceived transient and safety concerns. Higher density housing tends to bring higher turnover rates, and with that comes a perception, fair or not, of decreased stability and increased crime. The perception alone isn't enough to make a buyer hesitate. There's been comparable studies. In a 2022 study by the Brookings Institution found that dense developments placed in or near single-family zones without buffers led to an average 6 to 13% drop in adjacent home values in southern U.S. cities. In Austin, similar rezoning proposals have been contested for this reason. Homeowners saw their appraised values drop after neighboring upzones. I'm not against growth. I'm against growth that's forced into places it doesn't fit. This rezoning changes the entire feel and fabric of our neighborhood, and history shows that when that happens, property values usually pay the price. So that's it for me.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for our speaker?
Thanks.
Yes, sir. Anyone else present that would like to speak in opposition to this item? Please state your name and address for the record.
Yes, sir. Richard Villa, 4021 Vulcan Trail. My concern for the commission is the impact this would have on our environment. With rain, wastewater, and runoff, having all the man-made materials, the concrete, the asphalt, the buildings, versus of a 1B versus a 3B, you're now using more man-made materials, which is going to affect our runoff, going to affect our reclamation of the water into the ground system. Along with that, as said before, the utilities, the resources, both water, trash, sewer, environmental, what impact that does to our community. We already are a large 1B population. Adding 3B is just going to amplify the resources being used upon it. And that's the concerns that I have is why are we trying to take this area that is small, that's already going to be maxed out, and just completely wiping it out? That's going to affect all that, along with how the whole area in that area drains. Because I'm in the corner of that, and the drainage is a little tough as it is, and how that's going to be affected, and how they're going to fix that. That's the question that I pose.
I can throw something out there, and you can stop me if you want to. This is not, we don't know the specific plans. They can still build single family, I believe, in R3B, but they can do multifamily as well. So we can't, she's probably better, and I'm sure she'll stand up. Well, maybe she won't tell us what the plans are. But the point is, we don't know what they're going to do. And even if we did, when they submit plans, there's drainage studies and traffic studies and all these things, typically speaking, that that is codified in the city ordinances already, that they have to meet those standards. So that might give you some solace on the environmental effects, that there's rules in place already. But the big picture is we don't know what they plan to build.
So my question is, how can you approve without knowing what they plan to build?
The motion before us is that we're not approving the plans. We're approving zoning of the dirt.
Okay.
That being said, are you still a no regardless?
Yes, sir. I'm a full no.
Okay, very good. Is anyone else present that would like to speak in opposition to this item? Please state your name and address for the record.
Right. My name is Christina Upmore. I live at 3109 Risinger Road here in the Park Meadows community. I just wanted to say a few things. First and foremost, I understand that the purpose of this commission hearing is just to decide how to zone this new space. Well, it's not a new space, but this particular space. And it's, regardless of which way it's zoned, single-family homes can still be built there. And while many of us would like that to be a green space, I would say several, myself included, aren't opposed to more single-family homes because that was our expectation always anyway. What we are not comfortable with is, like our neighbor said earlier, the maximization, the blacking out of that space with as many multifamily units as can be stuffed in there. That does change the scope of that side of Warren Road where we all lived and what we all agreed to as a community to live together in this way. So obviously, single-family homes can be built there regardless, but that would be the limit of what I would be comfortable with. And just because across the road, they've already managed to increase that to an R3B, kind of under our noses really, because it's hard to keep up with these things sometimes. We wouldn't have been notified of that. But that's beside the point, that's already been done. That doesn't mean same has to be on this little corner on our side. We just want our community to remain consistent, and single-family homes is our choice and our recommendation. So I also am in opposition to changing this land designated use to R3B. Thank you.
Very good. Any questions or comments for Ed Speaker? Thank you. Is anyone else present who would like to speak in opposition to this item? Would the applicant like to make a short rebuttal? 3 minutes? Is that how long she has on the rebuttal? Yes.
I don't need 3 minutes. I just wanted to, point out, and, I hear and I understand, obviously it is zoned for single family. I believe our concern here is that this parcel being used for single family would have no access into the Park Meadows subdivision and would just have the direct access out onto the new Warren Road that will be constructed here shortly. So again, that is why we believe that it best matched with the zoning across the street, because it will stand alone. So just, again, here to answer any questions, but don't need the full 3 minutes.
From the design up here, all those homes that back up into the proposed new zoning area, do you know if they're all occupied? I see some of the lot numbers here.
Some of them are, not all of them are. They are all sold to either a builder or individuals.
Okay.
I can't say exactly. I know everything in the cul-de-sac right there is under construction. And then I believe on the corner there's some that are Stylecraft, but the majority along the right side going towards where Vulcan is are residents that are living there.
Currently there.
Okay. Kind of a split.
Okay.
Any other questions for the applicant? Hey, Laura or Will, can I missed some stats that I wish from one of our speakers. Am I allowed to call her back up? Our first speaker, yes. The first part when you were going through your thing you gave?
Yes, sir.
Can you go over your stats and who these folks are? And you
Okay.
said,
So basically what I looked at is in that circle, that's the 200 feet within the area. And so any house that has any sort of portion inside those dashed lines are who we reached out to. And so I counted that there was a total of 31 houses that were in that area that would be within that 200 feet of this. And my husband and I went around and we looked at the houses and we talked to the Stylecraft and the Dunhill representatives. And I believe there are 13 unoccupied houses currently within that area. So, yeah.
Unoccupied, meaning they have been sold and just not moved into, or?
Some of them, there's not even a house on the
Okay, so it's
property.
still vacant property?
Correct.
Completely not a house at all?
Correct. Some of that, like, I believe they've all been to a builder.
Sure.
But I know there's 3 or 4 just next to us that don't even have a house built on them yet.
Okay.
So you have 40 signatures, it looks like here. on your
Correct.
petition.
We also reached out to people in the general Park Meadows neighborhood as well who were opposed to this change due to the school, the traffic, all of that.
Okay, so did you write down, do you have the stat on the people in the circle that are on this petition, like a percentage or ratio?
So we were able to get a hold of 11 of those houses, and when you divide the 11 by the 31, that's a 35%.
Okay. 35% in the circle are opposed,
Correct.
and plus some more outside the circle.
Plus more outside in other parts of Park Meadows, further down on Celestial or on the other streets as well.
I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
What lot, do you know your lot number? Are you within?
We're lot 25. We're on, we're one of the houses that
you're
directly
within-
backs up to the green area.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments for the speaker, or any other speaker that we could call back up? Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll call one more time, just for fun, because it's still open. Anyone else present that would like to speak in opposition? Okay, and we've heard a rebuttal. Very good. Do any of the commission members have any more questions?
What about four?
Sir?
Can I speak for?
On behalf of the applicant? Four.
Or the applicant?
It's still open, right, Will? We have a speaker 4 in support. Can we back up? Yes? Yes, sir, Mr. Parker. Please approach the podium, state your name and address for the record.
I live real close to the fire station. Basically, it's up the street. This property, the way it's shaped, is not very conducive of getting a street in and out. If you're looking at the more density, usually they're smaller units. You're not going to have as many 3 bedrooms, more 1 bedroom, probably 2 bedrooms. So I don't think you're going to have a big traffic problem. And if they do 2-story, you're going to be way better off. I used to do sound studies. You're going to be way better off sound for the rest of the people behind it. So I think it's a tit for tat. I really don't think there's going to be that much difference in what's going to be there. And it's going to be a whole lot easier to deal with the drainage in that vicinity if you're doing it that way. And the total number of units that they can add under this zoning is only 27. And if you're probably going to be half the size, so I don't think it's going to impact near as much as anybody thinks. And then the other option is O3, and there's no O3 is when the option's in it. There's no O3, so there would be a place to do daycare, doctor's offices, and everything. So there's a big demand because there's very, very shortage of O3 or commercial in that general area.
Any questions or comments to the speaker in favor of the rezoning? Very good. Thank you, sir. Okay. A question. Mr. Inman, it's still open. Yes, sir. Please.
So I've been a member of other cities, other planning commissions. I've sat in on plenty. Typically, anybody that's supposed to be as an applicant or in support of should go first so that we know what they're going to present so that we can sufficiently, within our time, go ahead and counter what they were going to say. In this case, that wasn't the case, but however, the gentleman that just came here said there would be 27 units, maybe 1 to 2 bedroom units that would be smaller. Well, that could be anywhere from 50 to 75 different people that are going to be there. We don't know how many children, we don't know how many family members are going to be there. On top of that, the now new information that it could be commercial space that backs up directly to these people's yards If it's a two-story, well, that eliminates all the privacy from the person that's got a backyard right there, in that space right there. What was defined just now as minimal or beneficial, well, it doesn't have to change. It can remain a green space, which is what these people were sold on to begin with when they got their homes, the ones that are backing up directly to it. Just because an R3B would be the ability to have more units there, which may help any kind of drainage or anything, doesn't mean that that can't happen. Any of those, has anybody here driven through Park Meadows? I have lived there since, from what I remember, when we got in there, there was supposed to be so many things that have been done to that community. Nothing is done, everything. You can still walk in the back trails behind these houses. There's small little trails, just construction material, trash. Nothing has been done to increase the livability of the community itself, and yet the developer wants to go and turn around and make this into a more congested space. And by doing so, they're saying, well, it's technically not part of Park Meadows because there's no ingress and egress. However, you know, besides the fact that you could then take one of those empty lots if you wanted to and make that, that's even beside the point. But you don't have to do anything. That wasn't proposed when you came in there. None of the builders mentioned any of that stuff in that zone when we came in there. So now why all of a sudden? Well, because now they've reached the fact that, oh, well, we kind of blocked that off. So we better see if we can't get it rezoned. And just now you heard the gentleman say that it could be office buildings, it could be doctor's offices, which the entire not knowing, the ambiguity of that is frightening. Furthermore, I started a petition even before that. It's got 300 signatures right now. It goes all throughout the community. I didn't limit it, but it was on change.org. It was a petition that I started just to see if there was, you know, support or not support. And I got 300 signatures off of that, and that might be in addition to or inclusive of their signatures as well. So I think you've got overwhelming support again, or overwhelming opposition, plus the percentage that she went ahead and told you. That's for that zone right there of the homes that are built. We don't even know what other people would say coming in.
Thank you, sir. Would the applicant like to make a short rebuttal?
Just to note that I have heard about it being green space. It was never intended to be green space. It won't stay as green space. It will be developed out. So, and then we do not own any of those lots that you see there. They have all been sold to either individuals or builders. So the option of taking one of those lots and driving access to that is no longer available there. Those lots have all been sold and are out of our control. So just to kind of state that, because I heard that being mentioned as an option for access.
Very good. Any comments or questions from our commissioners? Okay. This public hearing on this item is now closed. Commissioners, is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to disapprove.
I second.
There's a motion by Mr. Vickers to disapprove, and it's seconded by Ms. Givens. Any discussion?
I'd like to say thank you for coming out. Really appreciate you guys coming. Appreciate you being organized. I've been on this for 5.5 years, and you guys are one of the most organized groups, so thank you for doing that. It helps us understand how you all feel. That is our job. We're representing the community. And so thanks for doing that. Thanks for being organized. Thanks for being concise and consistent. So thank you.
I would add to that, it takes a lot to step up to that microphone. Good job tonight. There has been a motion by Mr. Vickers, second by Ms. Givens. Any other comments? Please poll the commission.
Campbell?
Yes.
And just a reminder, yes
Or
is...
disapproval.
Yes.
Yeah, yes vote is to disapprove. Embry?
Yes.
Givens?
Yes.
Ingram?
Yes.
Lozano?
Yes.
Salome? Yes. Vickers?
Yes.
Motion carries. Yes, ma'am.
Just emphasize to the group that this is just a recommendation, so this meeting will continue on city council. Council's not meeting in July, so the meeting will be August 5th.
August 5th, here in this room.
Here in this room.
Very good. The next item on the agenda is, it's Z25-3, but they have withdrawn the application, and so we need to entertain a motion to accept the withdrawal. And I would do that if someone would do it. I'm sorry? It is the last item. Oh, what, yeah.
Move to do that thing you asked for.
Accept the
I don't know what you said, sorry.
withdrawal.
Move to accept the withdrawal.
withdrawal.
Yeah. I should have
Motion
been
by
paying
Mr.
attention, my
Vickers,
bad.
Ms. Givens? Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, good.
Whoever, I'll second that.
It's been a motion to accept the withdrawal
This
by
was the hardest part.
by Mr. Vickers and a second by, I think, Mr. Campbell. Any discussion? Please poll the commission.
Campbell,
Yes.
Embry,
Yes.
Givens,
Yes.
Ingram,
Yes.
Lozano,
Yes.
Salome,
Yes.
Vickers.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Laura, is that all on the agenda?
That is all on the
Okay,
agenda.
I think the last thing is everyone to say thanks to Mr. Vickers and his time served, serving this community, being a good friend on a personal note, yeah, so-so.
Mediocre.
But Mr. Vickers does countless things for this community, representing Baylor well and District 5, just a great citizen, and it's going to be a tough loss. On that note, we'll accept 5 minutes of speech from you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other comments for Mr. Vickers' last meeting?
Thank you.
Okay.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Well done.
On that note,
Good person last meeting.
this meeting is adjourned.